So I have some pretty bad news. Aside from all of the money I lost in the stock markets, I've also lost nearly almost all of the money that I put into the crypto market as well. If any of you have been following the cryptocurrency markets, you'll know that Bitcoin and pretty much every single other kind of crypto coin has crashed over 60 or 70%. In total, I had about 10,000 US dollars invested into the cryptocurrency market, split up between different coins, primarily in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then a bunch of other coins as well. I had about 7,000 in Bitcoin and then about 2,000 in Ethereum, and then the remaining 1,000 was just in a bunch of random smaller coins that aren't really very well known. As you can see from this chart, it's not looking too great for Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency really. It got pretty high, over $60,000, but now it's nearly down to below $20,000. So on the chart, you can see there's a little circle, and that's where I did most of my buying. And I thought buying Bitcoin at around $50,000 would be a good idea because everyone was saying that Bitcoin was going to get to $100,000 easily. Even Cathie Wood was saying stuff like Bitcoin's going to be $200,000 per coin. So as you can imagine, my $7,000 investment into Bitcoin, starting from around 50k, has not really done very well now that it's down to 20k. That means I've lost over 50% just on Bitcoin alone. And unfortunately, it just gets worse because I started to buy Ethereum when it was around $4,000. I thought it would be a good idea to buy it at 4,000 because everyone was saying it would get to 10,000 easily. And now one Ethereum is only worth nearly $1,000. That means I've lost over 70% of my investment into Ethereum. And I don't even want to talk about the other coins I got. One of them was called Cardano, and I bought that when it was about $2 or $3, and now it's below $1 for one Cardano. I thought it would be a good idea to start investing into cryptocurrencies because everyone was saying that crypto would be a good hedge against inflation. And I felt pretty confident and sure that inflation was going to get worse and worse. And it has. Inflation has just risen to heights that we haven't seen in decades. And you would have thought, well, this should be really good for crypto. How come Bitcoin isn't at 100k now if it's supposed to be such a great hedge against inflation? But no, instead it does the opposite, and it's been crashing. Crypto has just been crashing, just like all of the other tech stocks and the Nasdaq. So how is it a hedge against inflation? It's a hedge against nothing. It's basically done nothing that it was supposed to have done. The whole point of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in the first place was supposed to be that it's not supposed to be able to lose value because there's a limited supply available to people. One of the reasons why we have such high inflation now is because the governments keep printing money, and you weren't supposed to be able to do that with Bitcoin. That's why it was supposed to be a hedge against inflation. I personally believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has just lost all credibility. And how can anyone have any faith or believe in crypto anymore when it can't even do what it was made to do, which was supposed to protect the value of your money against inflation? And even though I thought cryptocurrency and Bitcoin was a pretty good idea when I first got into it, I now think that it's kind of just like a pyramid scheme, and it's trying to trick people who don't know much about it to get into it, just so that they can lose money and the people who were in before can make money. And now that pretty much every market is now crashing really hard after all this inflation stuff and recession fears, you can really see which assets are crashing the hardest. And it seems like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular are just popping. They are the biggest bubbles that we've had in the last few years, and they are the biggest to pop. And I reckon Bitcoin and crypto, they're all going to go to zero. And I think I'm just going to sell whatever I have left, and instead of waiting for it to bounce back up, I just don't really believe it's going to bounce back up to what it used to be again. I think I'm going to end up shorting crypto because I think it's going to get a lot worse. And one of the reasons I think it's going to get a lot worse is because of this guy called Michael Saylor. Some of you may know who he is. This guy owns over $1 billion of Bitcoin, and apparently he borrowed a lot of money to be able to purchase these Bitcoins. And if Bitcoin drops below a certain point, he's going to get margin called because he used so much leverage. And then he's going to have to sell a lot of his Bitcoin, which is just going to crash the Bitcoin market down even more. I just don't really believe in cryptocurrency anymore. I thought, yeah, the concept and the idea of it did sound pretty interesting at first. And yeah, you could have made a lot of money if you got in earlier, but I think it's too late now. Right now, it's just too late to get in. The money's already been made. Just look at the charts for any cryptocurrency. It looks like a massive mountain with a peak and a massive drop. It's too late. It's done. It's over. There's just been so much scamming and degeneracy all around the whole crypto sphere. All of these weird apps and weird currencies coming out, and all these different scams, especially by content creators promoting their own kind of cryptocurrency so they can make some quick money. I think in a few years' time, we'll look back at all this crypto madness and we'll just all think, wow, look at this. It's such an obvious scam, such an obvious bubble. How did anyone actually believe that this had any kind of future? And I feel kind of annoyed with myself for getting sucked into it so easily, but it was just so hard to resist the temptation. When you hear about all these people making millions, all these crypto billionaires, it just sounded so tempting to get into it as well. And I'm starting to think that I should just give up on investing in general. I got into investing and stocks about 2 years ago, hoping to make some money. And in the beginning, I did make a lot of money, and it was really fun and exciting at first. But then the party ended, and now I've lost just so much money from all of these bad investments. Every single stock I picked ended up just crashing, and then the ones that didn't crash were the ones that I sold too early. It's so hard to make money doing this investment stuff, and I just think it would be a better idea to just sell everything and stop buying stocks, stop buying crypto, and just buy something else. When I first got into the stock market, I thought, wow, this is so easy. Why doesn't everyone just do this? I'm making thousands and thousands every month, and everyone else is just scared to do it because they heard some horror stories, a few examples of people losing a lot of money, and they're put off from getting involved. They're so stupid. Look at me making so much money. Well, who's laughing now? Because they are the ones who've lost tens of thousands of dollars and pounds. But I guess that's just one of life's harsh lessons. There's no such thing as easy money. Sure, you might get lucky here and there, but eventually the luck runs out and you end up losing everything.
Really good questions we'll talk about in today's video. I also want to talk about Bitcoin and crypto because it's crazy. Ever since Bitcoin reached $69,000 back in November, it has fallen 70%. And now Wall Street has made it even easier to bet against Bitcoin because starting this week, there's a new ETF called BITI, and it allows you to bet against or short Bitcoin. And this is going to have a massive impact on its price, which I'll talk about later in today's video.
Thank you to all the crypto investors for joining me today. I'm going to give you a warning. Bitcoin is going under $20,000, and the crypto crash, it's going to get worse.